Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our series on reviewing DiSC profile and your personality. During this series, we're going to take a look at each characteristic and each style, and how that style communicates, leads, works with others, and deals in conflict. We'll also learn some key adapting and connecting behaviors that's very, very important for all of us. This session is devoted to dominance, being a D. Now, why should you watch this? Well, that's pretty easy if your style is D. If your dot is in the D quadrant, for example. A team member of yours is a D. Maybe, in addition to that, your supervisor, manager, or leader is a D, or their dot is in the D quadrant. Or your spouse or significant other is a D. Maybe one of your customers exhibit D characteristics. Or you wonder what the heck makes a D a D. This session is going to be devoted to people whose dots are in that upper left-hand quadrant, the D or dominance quadrant. Any of those dots are an example of that. Let's talk about preferred environment. First of all, very fast-paced. They need clear objectives and desired outcomes. And also for a D, they need freedom from rules and policies. They just really dislike being constrained. They like rewards that are based on performance and really nothing else. And they have a great desire for very short meetings and short interactions in general. They tend to control or drive situations. Now let's talk about how a dominant or high D will communicate. They're very direct and to the point, very few words. In addition, they are very fast-paced, near auctioneer pace in some cases. They're assertive in tone and in their non-verbal signals. And Ds will also form thoughts prior to fully listening. That becomes kind of a challenge for many Ds. They disengage from lengthy or overly detailed communication. They'll turn off from a 3-paragraph email or a very lengthy dialogue very quickly. Ds in teamwork have some interesting characteristics as well. They'll try to control or take over the group dynamic. And if not, they'll tend to withdraw. If they're unable to control it or drive it, they'll pull themselves out. They must also see clear objectives in working with others. In decision making, Ds tend to be very fast decision makers, oftentimes rash. They'll also use instincts, gut reactions, and history in their choices. It's also a very emotionally driven decision making. They're often dismissive of other perspectives because of their belief of them being right. In conflict, people with high D characteristics, they look at it as a win-lose situation, with of course themselves being the desired winner. They'll fight over small things for a principle and use a lot of capital in those fights. They'll also use force of tone, loudness, and overpowering style to win a conflict or to win an issue. They embrace, or in many cases force, conflict in a working environment. In leadership, the dominance characteristic has a higher tendency to be directive in approach and tone. And they'll also be very assumptive that people understand quickly. This can lead to some pretty significant disconnects. They lead at a rapid and high-pressure pace, meaning they're always driving for results and driving for additional action. They're very objective-driven, and they need to meet desired outcomes. Some of the challenges associated with dominance include they need to value people as much as accomplishments in production. They need to see value in relational interaction. You know, sometimes just getting to know people has some real value. They need to demonstrate patience at a much higher level than they do automatically. And they need to work within the constraints of policy and procedure while continuing to challenge their effectiveness. That's a tough one, but they have to stay within the rules while challenging those rules. And they also need to work on not sounding harsh or rushed in conversations and interactions. In the next installment, we'll look at what it means to be an I and what that style looks like. And if you're interested in updating or getting a newer version of your DiSC profile, please contact us. Thank you very much, and I look forward to our next interaction together.